Welcome to Tap and Go. This is a much happier pub 7 days later than it was a week ago. Dustin's giving it the double guns in the corner. 33 points to 26. The Springboks have done it. Oh my word, gents. Even I'm exhausted after watching that. Jacques, I made you go first last week after a loss, so the floor is yours. Are you all right? Is your blood pressure okay, buddy?
No, my blood pressure is not okay. Thank you very much. Luckily, my wife is out of town. Otherwise, she would have rushed in with the blood pressure medication. You say the dance floor is open, let's dance. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Not for a moment did I stress, except for the last week. And it was like a nightmare sequence leading up to the game, right, with the changes and everything. But in the end, I think we played in many ways, in many regards, worse than we played last week. The All Blacks played much better than they played last week, and we won because we had more control, we made fewer errors, and we took the three when it was available. So a well-deserved victory by us. I think we should have won by more. The ref gave them a bit of affirmative action at the end to bring them into the game and making it exciting. And thank you, Angus, for that. But I think we won and we deserve to win.
I thought it was a superb performance. The Springboks in the lead from minute one, of course. But I did, in all the excitement, forget to mention that this week's show is being brought to you by Laduma Bet. So welcome to the Tap and Go family for Laduma Bet. Courtney, mate, I just want to talk about one man, Malcolm Marx. Holy... No, actually, Courtney, I'll let you start with the little Rassie flex at the beginning by changing this whole front row about 5 minutes before kickoff. And then it's like all good ideas, right? They're good if they come off and you're a genius, or they don't come off and you look very silly. It came off for Rassie, but wow, what a flex that was. I mean, that first half performance was superb. Dustin, giving it the double guns, mate. You must be you're pretty chuffed there in the bar tonight.
No, buzzing, man, buzzing. It was a really good game. I think, overall we took the chances when we had them, which is again a step up from last week. We took the three when we had them, like Jacques said, which was again. I mean, not to say that we don't need Andre Pollard, but do we need Andre Pollard if Colby's kicking the way he's kicking? That was really good to see. Malcolm Marx, like you said, absolute flex. Who's over the ball? Marx is over the ball. I mean, it was just getting those turnovers and keeping us going. So no, happy, double guns, loving life at the moment, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Chris, the last time we saw you, you were in a very cold and wet. Geez, I'll get Hollywood Pets Kings Park. There we go. We got there in the end. You're in a bit of a better place today, mate. And look at that. That's the first time I've ever seen you smile.
Yeah. Well, look, a win is a win. For the win, guys, I'm expecting a bit more energy, a bit more, us being up for this. I think, look, after last week, it's a welcome win. Either way, we'll take this. better by the box. I think at the breakdown, much smarter at the breakdown, keeping New Zealand honest. And look, at the end there, it looked a bit closer than what it should have. But yeah, happy with the win. And this is going to go down very nicely today.
There's a few beers going down and a few brandies going down. Welcome to Seth on YouTube in the live chat, and the 44 of you that have joined us now to come into the pub with us. It's your round, by the way. Hi, let's play from Vilba, and then Yella Boy Viboka coming from Mieta Mayers. She's super happy. Lots of Springbok fans, and Jacques. Mate, just are you just I don't want to put a damper. Are you a bit concerned that you were still outscored from the try perspective? My view on the tries from the All Blacks, though, is that they had to work really, really hard to score those tries. They were superb, but it took them 5 or 6 attempts, and then they finally got one. Took them 5 or 6 attempts, and then they finally got one. But is it a little concern for you that they still outscored you in the tries perspective? Moving forward, of course.
What's this you business, Andy? Either you with us or against us, all right? This is a team effort.
I'm thinking Castle Light. That's the best you're going to get.
Well, that's like HIV to AIDS. You start with a castle, you become a South African. About the defense, I'll speak about the defense very quickly. But before that, I just want to say I think Cheslin Colby has become the most important member of our team, because if he is 100%, right, with that side or this side of the 10-meter line, and between the trams, 100%, it means you can pick the best fly off to play rugby, right? And I just want to use this analogy. I don't know if you gents play golf, but he's like a 70-year-old with a 12 handicap or a below 10. It's not a big backswing. It's not a flourish. He doesn't shape the ball. It's just straight down the middle every time on the green, 2-putt, and it's in. So that's a great relief. But as far as the defense is concerned, I am a bit concerned about our defense. But look, the All Blacks had an awful lot of ball. They had an awful lot of ball in good positions. I don't think many teams can stop them from scoring 3 or 4 tries, giving them that much possession and position. I don't a Jacques Nienaber defense would have conceded as much. But no, I think, look, I mean, in the end, I'm not concerned with this game. My grandfather was a roommate in Stellenbosch with Boy Lowe, and he's the man that coined the term looks at the scoreboard. So looks at the scoreboard, I looks at the scoreboard, I'm very happy.
I'm there. Courtney, from your perspective, I couldn't hear you the last time. Maybe I'll hear you this time. That defensive effort. I was actually at I'm going to name drop now. I was at a breakfast earlier in the week, a breakfast thing, and Kitsy was there, Stephen Kitsoff, and he was talking about they've got this 80-20 rule in the defence that Nienaber brought in with this rush defence. And they said 80% of the time it will work, 20% of the time it won't, but don't worry because 80 is a better figure than 20. That is exactly what happens there. I thought the defensive effort from the box was incredible.
If I can jump in there, Courtney, 100%, it is fixable, but we need to fix it. I mean, I think the All Blacks got around us a bit easily, and even our fail safes, our defensive line curls in, but they go deep and then flat, and then they get around us. It's just too easy, and then this curl needs to work back, and they either don't work back enough, or the All Blacks. I mean, Will Jordan is a freak of nature. Will Jordan scores because it's a game of rugby, and Will Jordan scores. But I mean, you have that sort of that battle to at least get him on the cross, and I think yes, it's fixable, and yes, 80-20, all those things, but I think at least at least one, we should have stopped. So they should have done it. Yeah, no, it is still it is fixable, but it's concerning.
Yes, from your side of things, obviously a huge defensive effort and kind of, I don't want to harp on about the amount of tries conceded, but there are still 2 games left. They're not going to be as intense as that. But I want to, shame Sharky's not here, because I'd eat some humble pie about Damien Dialende. I thought Dialende, and I thought maybe Jacques or Dustin can answer this now. Chris just disappearing quickly. I thought Damien Dialende was simply sensational, absolutely sensational.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I mean, I think Damien and Jesse had absolutely fantastic games, and that showed us what we lost last week with Kirkley's injury and the reshuffle of the center field. Right? They were absolutely magnificent. But actually, we had, as we were going through, I put pluses next to guys who were playing well, and in the end, it was pretty much almost the whole team. No one had a really bad game, but Eben played really well. Malcolm Marx was a colossus, like you say. Ruan Nortje we dominated the lineouts, but he was surprisingly physical on the game line. Siak played excellently, and he cleaned the rocks, he hit holes. Sasha played well. Damien was fantastic. Andre Esterhuizen won the game in the end, or at least avoided the draw with a steal, which Stuart Pearce thought was Cameron Hanekom. I don't blame him, because Andre Esterhuizen looked for all the world like not only an open sider, but also an 8-man that runs into people and hurt them.
Dustin, let's just carry on with this kind of theme of Dialende Creole. Was there anybody else that you just were like, I mean, when you're in the, let's call it the shit, because you were 1 down and you had to win this game, you need the big names to step up. And today, the big names stepped up. Yeah, lights should be good. They think I'm in an attic. Yeah, the big names step up. But is there anybody there that, nobody wants to see my face today. There's anybody that you just stood out today that you went, holy moly, there's another level. There's just another level that something happens and they just bring it.
Yeah, you said it. The big names made the big plays. I mean, this is the most experienced side that we've got in history. 1,000, I don't know, something stupid test caps between the starting 15, I think it was. So we had 15 big players on the field and 15 big players who made big plays. I mean, we can go through the room and say from 1 to 50 or 1 to 23 even. There was a standout moment from every player. I think Malcolm Marx really made a difference at the breakdown, at scrum time. I'm not sure. Look, I'm not a scrum specialist. Maybe someone who knows what was going on. I don't know what was happening with Angus and Malcolm. At one stage, they were having a bit of a thing going there. Chris, maybe you can jump in there. I don't know what happened there. But I mean, Malcolm to me was maybe the best guy on the field today.
Yeah, look, Dustin, I agree with you there. Malcolm definitely the best. But for me, the ref, he didn't want to give any rewards at scrum time. The amount of resets that he was allowing. I mean, you could just tell that, look, understandably, they want to keep the flow of the game, but at the same time, they killed the flow of the game. So I wasn't impressed with that refereeing performance in that aspect, especially around scrum time. But look, Malcolm Marx stand out over the ball. And another player, Andy mentioned, I think Etzebeth, difference line-out contesting was big this week as opposed to last week. I think that's one of the key differences that we saw in this game, and then that obviously had that knock-on effect where everybody else, could put their hand up and put in and chip in and give make a play. And I think we saw that, and we saw what happens when you bring back the captain. I think he had a big innings, big influence in that game. So yeah, I think yeah.
Sorry, Andrew. Andy,
He's
if I can
spurred
just
on.
jump in here about the scrums. I think Angus obviously was influenced by what Rennie said in advance. He was speaking to us all the time and not walking around and so forth. But we must give credit to the All Blacks. I mean, at the end of the game, with Wilco and Ox, that Springbok scrum is, in my opinion, the strongest scrum in the history of the game. And the All Blacks were rock solid on their own ball. They got their own ball. We couldn't get penalties. We must give them credit. They did excellently.
I blame the Lions for that in the midweek game. I think they gave them a stern wake up, and we saw the improvement from New Zealand, this weekend. So look, yes, give them credit, but look, I still think Boks are still a step above them, especially at scrum time.
If I can, Courtney, you were agreeing with that, what Chris was saying about Sia, and 100%. You know what I mean? He was he scored. He was leading from the front. He did the things. Even when he went off the field, they would cut back to him every now and then. I want to say but he's the guy on his feet, cheering the guys on, making calls, still leading, even not being on the field. I mean, you're right. We are understating his sort of influence in the squad.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, if I can jump in again, sorry, I just want to tag on to what Dustin says. Andy, you're going to have to mute me because I've got so much to say and I'm in a good mood because we won. All right, but Dustin, you know what I think? Yeah, thank you. Goodbye. I'll take over. Anyway, Dustin, I couldn't agree more. I think that this transition that we're doing from the twice golden generation, which might be the thrice golden generation, to next gen, is fraught in the following aspect: is that all our game drivers, if you think about the guys who were the brains trust and the decision makers on the field during those two World Cup wins, it was Sia, Andre Pollard, Faf, Willie, and these guys. And we've lost those guys. Guys like Eben and Peter Stefte are different personalities. Okay, they have experience, but they're not leaders. If you think at that semi-final with England, just after Andre kicked that all-time great kick, and we're going back, it's Andre Pollard and Sia from the touchline showing, look for the short kick, right? Those are the guys that we missed last week. And I think having Sia there, even on the sideline, made the difference with the calm and the control and the clear heads and making the right decisions. I think you're 100% right, Dustin.
and for me personally, I also don't want to make it a thing of, it's just a thing of leadership, that he's got this aura about him that pushes us on. He does the work. We saw him score the try. We saw him, the carries that he makes, the way he gets over the game line, the way that he clears, especially when we're on offense, he clears those rucks. So it's not just this thing of, oh no, the story of Zwide and what. It's the guy actually plays. The guy he does the job on the day, and he pushes us forward in a way that I don't think you can talk about the Etzebets and whatever. Etzebeth was there last week. He was there and we still lost. So I think that's what my thing is. We're understating how vital Kolisi is to this cause. And yes, Paul de Villiers can have a good game, good season, whatever. But without Sia, we're a different team. The other two guys, which I think made the biggest impact, besides the fact that there were no real disruptions. You look at last week, Arendse went off, Colby went off. We had to rejig the whole back line. This time, it's more settled, it's more stable. Then Colby, he gets into his game. Ethan Hooker as well. We saw that we discussed it midweek, how vital he would be in the air and using his frame. So I think, for me, everyone else kind of did their game. We know what they're going to give us. But for me, those were the three standouts and the difference makers from, for example, last week to this week.
Andy, can I tag on to what Courtney said, or do you want to carry on? Because
I mean, it's your show. It's your show now, Jacques. It's your show, so you just crack on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My wife says I talk too much. I don't know where she gets the idea, but woman. Anyway, about Sia, all right. I believe he's one of the most underrated rugby players in the world as a rugby player, and I think what the problem is that people misunderstand his role in the Springbok team. He is not a Paul de Villiers. He is not a fetcher. We didn't try to slow down their ruck ball as we did last week, right? So his job is to clean and to carry. And the way that you can best see this is that when he was taken off, with whom was he replaced? With Andre Estreisen, right? Not with Cameron Honeycomb to chase breakdowns and try to turn over the ball or slow, the typical fetcher, but with a guy who hits the line hard and cleans rucks. And we had cleaner rucks. That's why we attacked. That's why we scored our try. So I agree 100% with Courtney there.
Cool, guys. Just a reminder, thank you to everyone who's joining us in the pub and the tap and go. There's over 60 of you live just on it, but brought to you this week by Laduma Bet. So go to Laduma Bet's website and get on there for all of your betting needs that you would ever need. And just a few comments coming through on the YouTube feed. Welcome to Tyler Scott. Well done, Box. NZ Tino Kino Tama, we know where he's from. Every Springboks player played awesome, and for an All Blacks to lose by only one try gives me hope as an All Black fan. And then Scott Miller, 9 tries to 4. It's 1-1 in the series, though, Scott. And that's kind of all that matters, unfortunately, for you, my man.
Check the scoreboard.
Jock
Jock said it. Check the scoreboard, Scott. Check the scoreboard.
Yeah. No, my brother used to say no pictures on the scoreboard, Andy. Cameron _JK. Rassie changing the team right before the match is BS. He needs to be stopped from doing this. It shows utter disrespect to the opposing team. I'm going to hit mute and let you boys go. Let someone else have a rant, and then you can jump.
No, I think what must happen is, and this is not my original idea, is that everyone must get with the Rassie program as they do, right? Everyone follows Rassie 2 years later. I say let's accelerate the process, and we stop this whole thing about announcing teams. You announce your squad, make it like soccer. You announce your squad, and you find out who the starting team is when they run out. I think it's a great idea first because it stops all these silly buggers games that Rassie and everyone else is playing. The other thing is, I think a danger with rugby is over-analysis. It becomes so difficult to attack because, how many analysts are there using AI? They're using human brains that are beyond our capacity, at least, or mine. I can only speak for myself. And that sort of causes a stultifying game. If you don't know who's going to show up on the day, that makes for, I think, more scoring and more exciting rugby. I see Courtney disagrees, but he's wrong.
This is a product. I mean, I think it's a sport, but at the end of the day, we must also realize it's a product that you're giving out. You give us the team midweek, it gives us more to speak about. So I'm happy with it. I don't mind the changes half an hour before, whatever, as long as it's in the parameters of the rules. So he's not doing something that's. I mean, I will agree, it's gamesmanship. It's line stepping, and we all know Rassie is a habitual line stepper. So we know that these mind games are going to come. We know it's going to. The team was announced on Monday. They normally announce on Tuesday. Then they change. We know it's going to happen. So I think it's, as long as it's within the parameters of the game, it's fair.
100%.
Lucky for us, we've got the under-15 AFGRI week winning coach of the Leopards on here. If you didn't know that, Dustin will tell you if you ever meet him. Dustin, as a coach, all jokes aside, how do you think mentally that did a little even if it's 1%, it doesn't matter. But if it's 1%, it's 1%. If it's 10%, it's 10%. I mean, where do you stand on this?
No, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like Jock said, it's you wait for the team to be announced, and then you jump hard and analyze for as much as you can in a day, and then prep for a day or two. I mean, at this level, surely they would have. If Rassie announced a team on Monday, Dave Rennie would have prepared for it for the Saturday. You know what I mean? And then he's got a day of analysis, and the day he wants to start prepping, then the team changes. So it's another half a day analysis. another half a day that he wants to start prepping, and then when he rocks up, it's a different team. So does it have an influence? It 100%, and I think it's not even a 1%. It can maybe a 10, 15% influence, definitely. And I love it. Well done.
If I could just say in Rossi's defense, in this particular instance, now I know, look, I mean, well, he is Rossi and he is taking the piss, but I think in this case, if you think Monday, all right, what were we expecting Monday? Monday, the plan was, or the idea was, we're going to play in the rain with the Northern Hemisphere referee, all right? And by Thursday, we know we are going to play in perfect conditions with Angus Gardner. These are two totally different games, right? The first, you scrum, you line out, and you kick it, and you chase with Andre Pollard. The second, you're going to have to run around and you're going to have the game that we saw today. So I personally think the ref change and the forecast change prompted Rossi's team change.
So I'm going to come to you. I'm going to give you a chance to talk, Chris. Mate, I'm going to Shark get that fucking hand down, right? I love you, Brad. I love you, mate. Just sorry, 2 comments, Chris, before I come to you. And this is, I want to use the comment because I want you to talk about it. NZ Tino Kinotama, who was very nice and humble just a minute ago, has said, "Boys, how did the TMO miss Grandpa Faree taking out Parker for Dialende to score?" I actually saw that, and then when the replay came back, I don't think Faree does anything wrong. Well done, Box. Take our loss and see you next week. We won't blame the ref. Another little veiled dig. They love it, don't they? Masterclass from the Rassi, benching Marks and Ox that won the game. Well done, the Box from Matt Unker. And thanks to Jack Frost. Tiki Toko as well for your comments on the stream. Chris, my question to you is, I'm watching it obviously as a neutral, but as a massive rugby fan. I thought Angus Gardner had a good game. I actually think he allowed play to continue. I know that you want reward for things like scrum time and everything like that, but as a rugby fan, sometimes he has shockers. But I thought today he actually added to that game being as exciting as it was.
Andy, look, granted, yes, he added to the game to make it the spectacle that it was. But, if we had to say out of 10, I'd still give him a 5. Reason is, for me, there's a lot that was missed. I mean, the comment there says, okay, he missed the Deon Faree taking the player out. I think there's so much more that was missed. Cam Roygaard on that Volko low tackle, he didn't retreat back, so he was offsides when he played that ball. It should have been a penalty. So there's things that were missed as well. But look, yeah, he contributed to the game, to the spectacle. But for me, look, Super Rugby laws were sometimes in effect over there. But look, as long as we got the win, I'm just happy with that.
Absolutely. And let's go around the room then, because next week, Soccer City, well, at the F&B Stadium, as it's now known, there's some painful memories up there of some last-minute F-ups, shall we say. And Israel back, just giving everyone a little twitch. Courtney, let's go with you. Moving into next week, obviously the momentum now shifts to the Box. There'll be some change in personnel. There'll be bruised, battered bodies. There'll be Rassi. I mean, it's so funny, isn't it? Because I was saying something different about Rassi. He's been very quiet. It's always the quiet ones, eh? It's always the quiet ones you've got to worry about. Courtney, going into next week, I think Rassi's now got a little bit Rassi for president from someone on the Nova News website. Well, who could do a worse job? Anyway, Courtney, next week, what do you reckon is going to happen? I think the verbals this week between the coaches is going to start going off.
For me, I mean, if I look at this game, I think we just doubled down on the fact that it wasn't very imaginative from both sides. We just stuck to our strengths in a way. We recycling the ball as fast as you can, getting over the advantage line. And I think we're just going to go for more of the same next week. What I will say for this game is, with those 3 changes during the week of the team, he got that mix right. He got the brandy and Coke ratio right. It tasted sweet. So I'm just looking for him to get that same mix right again. In that mix, I don't know if that means that Lubbock has to start. because I would start Lubbock. Sasha, I felt like was just okay today. I felt like when Lubbock came, there was a bit more of that spark. But I'm just looking for him to get that mix right again. And I think, we were always going to win after that defeat, the backlash. We come back stronger. But now it's no longer what's your motivation this week. What's your motivation? And I think they just have to dig deep, find it, get the right guys on the field, and we one step closer.
Yeah, Chris, I've got some comments coming in. You're the comment man tonight, Chris. Jack Frost 00001. He's predicting a 3-1. I'm assuming to the box, but he says 3-1. And then Jasper Milan. The humble pie is served cold. Who's going to be eating the humble pie next week, Chris?
Oh, it definitely NZ for me. I think Boxer, I think they've had their one game where that was last week where it was a complete dog show. They've got the start now, got that one win. We're going to bank on the next one. The backlash, it started tonight. It will continue. So I think 3-1 to the Boks for sure.
Dustin, my man, you're buzzing tonight. I can tell already. It's going to be a sore head for you in the morning, I reckon, my man. It's the Double Gun Show. Mate, anything you change for next week? Or are you just going, let's ride this wave. Let's just be ruthless. Let's be brutal.
Yeah, I wouldn't change too much. Obviously, you'd sit down and Rusty and them will probably start tomorrow already. Sit down and go through the things and analyze and see what needs to change. But I don't think personnel wise we were worse off. I think we were really good. But remember, Dave Rennie's going to do the same. So it's trying to keep that step ahead. So I think, well, look, the Springboks are going to win. I'm going to punt them for a 3-1 series win. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, the All Blacks showed now just how they keep on fighting just in this game. They kept on narrowing that gap until it was a one try game. So I'll look for them to bounce back as well. I mean, they'll do their homework and come hard at us next week. We'll just have to be ready, and I think we will be.
Yeah, exactly. Kickoff online. A win is a win. Check the scoreboard. One game, all great for next week. A few more comments coming in. Jack Frost, when does the rugby start? Jasper Milan, who mentioned the humble pie. He said the whole week we were under the hammer from the AB supporters, but we love the rivalry. Jean-Pierre Bosch, squeaky bums. Well, it was, but there was a massive Esther Hazen turnover. Where's Sharky? Where's Sharky when I need him? Where's Sharky where I need him? Told you about Esther Hazen. And do we have great, and Jasper continues, and we do have great respect to the AB team. Take nothing away from them. They are a masterclass team. Tonight, we were just better and played smart. Jacques, what are you doing next week? Put your Rassie cap on. Come on. What are you doing?
First, what I'm doing, look, I mean, predicting what Rassie is going to do, let me consult the Magic 8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball doesn't know. It's just, whatever, dude. No one knows what Rassie's going to do. But what I would do if I were Rassie, I've got a few things to say. I would ask whether or not we still play high tackle, right? Whether that is still a law, because it was only emerged in minute 79. I thought Angus had a great game. I was happy with him, apart from the fact that he didn't allow us to steal the ball, but that's fine. I think it was a good game up until the last 5 minutes. But you can't, after a tackle, hold someone by the neck, right? If you're holding up Cheslin Colby, okay, you're holding him up, but you can't hold him up by the neck. Okay, but so that's one thing. As far as prognostications are concerned, these are my thoughts. The Springboks, the last few years, actually under Rassie, now that I think of it, as a consistent trajectory to their season. They start off slowly, and then they get progressively better. And by the end of the season, they're spanking France in Paris with 14 men. All right. I think we've got the cobwebs out of our system. I think we played better this week. We were nervous this week because it was squeaky bum time in many ways, right? But I think we are going to get progressively stronger now. I think if I were a betting man, which I'm not, again, the ball and chain would not allow it, um, I would bet on the box. But we've got to keep these All Blacks are a different proposition than they were a year ago, right? When this tour started, we were like, how many world class players do they really have? Maybe not one, maybe Artie, maybe Geordie. But now Fabian Holland, Roygaard, Love, these guys are serious business. I wouldn't put money on it, but if I had to, I'd put money on the box.
Your money for the bar tab. It's your rounds this week, Jacques, in the tap and go. But gents, thanks for joining this evening. Thank you to Laduma Bet, who have been our very kind sponsor for this evening. It is one apiece. Courtney, Chris, Justin, and Jacques. Thank you for your incredible input. Courtney's chucking up the double guns now as well. He's stealing off you, Dustin. Hang on. There's a comment coming. Jasper again. Andre must start. Keep the forward pack, except bring our younger locks in and crappies at halfback. Sasha and Andre, Jesse and Damien and Ethan and Cheslin, and bring the good old boys of the bench as impact players. And then Bevan. Jeez. People starting fights. You should have started a fight in the pub about half an hour ago, boys. Love the respect between the box and Bevan Ritete, 4 tries to 3, yeah? But, mate, we've covered this. Bevan, you're too late. It doesn't matter how many tries you score. You've got to have some discipline, and you've got to not give away so many penalties with Cheslin Colby, who has now become like a world-class kicker. So, I wouldn't go there. But, gents, thanks for joining tonight. The discussion will continue. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We had thousands and thousands of views last week. We want thousands and thousands more. Thanks to everyone who's joined us in the Tap and Go pub this evening. And of course, thank you to Laduma Bet and a producer Joe sat in the TMO truck in a very cold Irish car park. We haven't mentioned that he's an Ireland fan. We'll bring that in a couple of weeks' time. And then you boys can give him some stick as well. But from everyone at Kickoff Magazine and from Nova News, thank you so much for joining tonight. It's 1-1. Congratulations to the Box. Whew. The fire is coming in 7 days, and we will be here again straight after that game. Enjoy your brandy tonight. Enjoy your beer. Don't drink and drive. Behave yourselves. And we'll see you next time on the Tap and Go.